Hey guys, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex.
This is Dead Lounge Podcast.
Welcome.
Or welcome back.
Whichever.
More likely welcome.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about alcohol. Everyone's favorite subject.
Yeah. To be real, I've been thinking about alcohol a lot lately.
And we had our appropriate shot of pumpkin spice rum.
Yeah.
So, I think we're ready.
And just so you know, we're not drunk, or at least
No, we're
I'm not drunk.
We're not drunk. We've had a shot.
Yeah, a single shot. And that's probably about it because it's still like 3:50 in the afternoon.
Yeah. But
People
it's
have to drive.
Kind of fun to have, like, just, even if it's not going to do anything, just to have that little, like, cheers moment of, like...
Yeah. I mean, we used to do that with, like, every recording of, like, grab a Mike's Hard or something, take a shot of something, probably rum, because that's, like, all I have.
I don't know, but I'm a little bit, honestly, nervous to have the topic be alcohol, because people have a lot of, like, intense opinions about alcohol. People have, like, people who are real, like, have, like, family or something, people that they're close to who are alcoholics, so they're really fiercely against it. And, like, people who I could equally offend who just love it more than anything.
Yeah,
And,
I
like,
really think it just depends on, like, where you're standing in the topic, cause you can really offend a lot of people. Like, there are people who get upset with me for drinking rum as my alcohol of choice, or my spirit of choice, because either because rum is, like, it's weak or it's gross compared to what they drink or blah blah blah.
Okay.
Or they just prefer, something over rum.
That's people are really, really weird with that. Like, people who are elitists about, like, the strength of the alcohol they're drinking. Like, like, they're so much better than you because they're drinking, like, 40%. Like, whatever they're drinking is, like, 40% alcohol, and you're drinking something that's, like, 15%. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I have a friend who, when we started hanging out, she was really, like, anytime we brought up alcohol, she would always give me shit when it's like, oh, you have rum, you don't have tequila, and blah, blah, blah. I drink tequila.
Who drinks tequila casually, though? I like tequila, too, but you don't just, like, pull out my bottle of tequila for, like, a casual night in. Like...
No, she does. She does, and every hangout, anytime she was over here, there was a bottle of tequila with her. Like, that was just her drink of choice.
See, the last time I had tequila was when my best friend came from out of town and we went to a bar. We were just hanging out. So tequila is appropriate then, because that's like a party. And then the time before that was like a New Year's party. So once again, tequila is an appropriate drink for that occasion.
Yeah, I think that's for me too. Like, the last time I had tequila was probably New Year's of this year, or close to it. It was like the Saturday right after New Year's, and it was with that friend.
Yeah, and I've had people like, you're drinking a Mike's Hard? That's so weak. Like, I am just sitting on my couch playing video games. I'm not trying to get shit-faced right now. Right. Like, I just like it. It tastes good.
Yeah. See, I've been talking a lot about alcohol recently with coworkers and honestly with my parents as well. That's a weird discussion.
I've had, like, one conversation with my parents about alcohol, and that was with my mom. And it all just started because we were at Chili's, of all places. Hashtag not spawn. But they have a Long Island iced tea on the menu, and we were talking about, like, we were trying to remember everything that was in a Long Island. And, like, because we were both pretty sure there was something missing from their list of what was in a Long Island.
Right.
And so we were just, like, talking about that, and I found out that rum was my mom's drink of choice when she drank a lot, and, like, neither of my parents really drink now, but They used to. And apparently rum was my mom's drink of choice.
Yeah, I know my dad doesn't drink. My mom drinks occasionally. Like, super, super, super occasionally. And usually it's just because, like, someone gave her alcohol as a gift. And, like, 3, 4, 5 years later, it's like, oh, I still never opened that thing. Here's what I'll do. I'll open it up, have a sip, and give the rest to, like, whoever's in the house. That's how I ended up dealing with a drunk friend, because me and her were hanging out for New Year's, and my mom was like, someone gave me this bottle of whiskey. I don't drink, but here, give me a sip. You two can have it. And it's like, well, I have to drive her home, so yeah, she just downed the bottle.
That's the thing that I offend people with. Whiskey's gross, and I won't drink it. I've had it several times in the past, and people were like, you'll like this one. You'll like this one. No, I won't. It's all disgusting. Same with beer. It's gross.
I will say something about beer. I understand it being like that casual drink. Like sort of how Mike's are for you. Of just, sit down, have yourself a Mike's Hard. It's kind of the same, except beer is one of those things like it's designed just to get you buzzed, but to get you buzzed very casually.
Right.
Like there are some flavors in there, but when you're buying like the cheap stuff or like the really generic stuff like Bud Light and Pabst and Busch and all that stuff, that's just designed to get for you to drink casually, at an event. There's not much flavor to it. It's sort of like chasing something with water, where it's like it although water kind of tastes better, but water tastes like nothing. Beer tastes but it tastes gross.
Right.
But it's like it's really nothing going down. Like it's nothing until you've had like 4. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly it's like, okay, I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah, I always feel like just alcohol culture is so weird. Like the culture that says like you're not having fun unless you're drunk. And then like when you are drinking, if you're not drinking the hardest possible drink you can, you're not doing it right.
That's
like
one thing.
I drink drinks that taste good.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like if it tastes good, then that's what I want.
There's 2 things that blew my mind, and like this is gonna be really weird. So listeners, bear with me for a second. and it's only weird because tangentially, I think I said that word right.
I think so.
Okay, so that friend that drinks tequila, she's like about 30.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we hang out, a lot of times she'll bring up things about, how I live and how I interact with my friends, because every story I tell her about, hanging out with you or hanging out with any friends, it's almost always the same. It's like, we hung out at my room. We hung out in your room. Occasionally, we went to the restaurant or something like that. Or like we went to a forest preserve. Like
right.
it's very casual, usually like one-on-one or like a small group of no more than 4.
A random little off point. We should go to a forest preserve now that it's getting nicer again.
Yeah, it is like super nice outside.
But back to alcohol.
and
Let's
like
get drunk and go to a forest preserve.
At night?
No.
Took a little bit of the edge out. Well, that's the thing with that friend. It's like, whenever she does it, whenever she hears these stories, she's just like, you guys aren't drinking, you guys aren't doing X, Y, or Z, and it's like, well, I have to drive myself home, and these friends want to be in their own homes or in their own rooms,
right?
Have the night to themselves.
And it's possible to have fun without being drunk.
Yeah. Like, alcohol was never the thing where, like, part of it was I was the designated driver all the time. So it was kind of the consequence of always being the designated driver, where people see you not drinking, and it's like, you're not drinking because you have to drive all these assholes home. But they see you not drinking, so it's like, I guess he doesn't drink. So even after I turned 21, like, no one took me to the bar unless they needed a ride. No one invited me to go out drinking with them unless they needed a ride because they knew that I wasn't going to be drinking. So I just kind of never had the chance to. And I constantly get shit for just not drinking. And it's like, well, you guys are young and this is what young kids do.
Right.
Like, that's what I did when I was your age. I was going out and partying and drinking and doing all these things. It's like
you're not actually, like, you're not good at being, like, in your early 20s if you're not an alcoholic.
It's like I'm busy. I'm doing things. Right. Like, I have work and responsibilities.
Yep, and can't go to work with a hangover. Or you could. It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Don't wanna.
Working at this new store, I would never dream of doing that. But, like, so that's one thing. Thing two, sorry for the weird, like, loop, full circle. Tasty drinks. When I started taking bartending classes, which I'm probably gonna go back to doing in the summer so I can finish my license. Mm-hmm. When I started taking those classes, it bothered me how much alcohol are in those tasty drinks.
Yeah, a lot of the drinks that taste good are really strong, and people refuse to drink them because they taste good, so they're like prissy girly drinks.
Well,
they have so much alcohol in them.
Even the teacher of the class that I took, like, she taught them to us as girly drinks. Like, these are the more girly drinks, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, and yet you're mixing alcohols, which get you fucked up quicker. There's so much of it in there already. Like, guy drinks, it's a rum and coke. It's like, that is a shot of rum, and you fill the rest of that cup up with coke.
Right.
You're not gonna feel that. That's gonna be nothing. And then there's like, oh, here's this Long Island. That's a girly drink. Mixed with, like, every alcohol under the fucking sun.
Right, like, I'll take, like, a drink that tastes good over, like, your manly drink that tastes like ass.
It's like, oh, gin and tonic. It's gin and tonic water.
And it tastes like ass. Like...
It's like, alright, give me a Cosmo. 'Cause it tastes good.
Though, I don't really like Cosmos.
I've never had one. But it sounds like things that I'd like in it. It's cranberry juice. It's fucking delicious.
See, what do I like? I like margaritas a lot. Like, those are pretty girly drinks, but, like, it's tequila.
Any sort of a cocktail with, like, strawberry or cranberry, I'm down.
And there was, pretty much any drink that involves Baileys is delicious. Like, that's probably my favorite alcoholic drink is Baileys. As much as I hate whiskey, because that's got, like...
Right.
The whiskey thing.
I was surprised that I enjoyed rum chata as much as I did when you gave it to me.
Rum chata is so good.
Because I'm not the biggest fan of, like, horchata, or horchata, however you pronounce that. I don't remember.
I can just rum chata straight. Like, you don't need to add anything to it. You don't need to, like, do anything with it. It's just delicious.
Yeah, I've been trying to, like, drink more. Like, especially...
Which is kind of a hilarious statement.
Well, it to me, in my mind, in my dumb, broken mind, it makes sense for, like, a couple of reasons. Like, the thing with beer, I never liked beer. I cannot stand it. Because it's that thing of, like, I don't know if you ever had this with vitamin water, but you drink it and it's like, as it's going in your mouth, brushing against your tongue, it's like, okay, this tastes all right. This isn't the worst. And then the moment you swallow it, all the flavor goes away, and suddenly it's just awfulness in your mouth, just liquid awfulness going into your stomach.
I don't know. Have you ever had PBR? That's pretty awful, no matter what.
I have not.
Like, as soon as it gets in your mouth, you want to throw up.
I like the design on the cans of PBR, but I've never had PBR.
I don't know how it became the official, like, hipster drink, because it's so bad.
See, where I'm from, PBR was like the white trash drink. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all that was. I don't know when it turned into this hipster thing. It was like trailer park trash.
Yeah, because that was like, and then that was like when we went to see Sloth Rust the last time. It was like spot the hipster things. Like how many people with like beards, plaid, skinny jeans,
played
PBR.
Hipster bingo.
Like,
that was great. Like, that was great, and I felt so bad. I was
so
one
many
of them.
people in that concert who like you could check off everything on the list.
Yep.
For like this one person. There's so many people like that.
Just fucking took my fucking plaid shirt off, tied it around my waist. Like, I'm not one of you.
But
I'm
why
different.
PBR? Hipsters. Why PBR?
I don't know.
Is it just because it's cheap? Like, is that all?
I really don't know. See?
But at least with, like, beer. Like, if you go to a beer place, there you can at least get, like, cider. They'll have like at least like one kind of cider on the menu if you go to a beer place.
Yeah, I think that's what you got when you were at that concert.
Yeah, I got.
It was Michigan, Michigan Orange something.
It was.
Because I remember you gave me a sip of yours and it was really good.
Started with a V. It was a cider, like the brand started with a V, but I don't remember what it was.
It was something Michigan. I remember Michigan was in the name.
It was from Michigan, like the brand. I remember that. But that was delicious. Like most like beer places, there's gonna be a cider option as well, and that's usually what I go with.
Yeah, I really wanted to, like, me getting into alcohol was like a weird roller coaster, but I wanted to, once I got into it, I wanted to make the distinction, because like I was taking bartending classes, and it's like I want to actually know what these things taste like. Mm-hmm. So I need to actually make them with proper alcohol instead of just the fake colored water so that I can know what it's supposed to look like when it's actually prepared and know what it's supposed to taste like when it's done, right, or at least like if I'm going to change it, what do I need to change?
Right.
You can't change a dish if you don't know what the ingredients taste like. You can't change a cocktail if you don't know what it needs more of or less of. So, bars usually serve beer. People are probably going to ask your opinion on something. You might as well get a taste for it just to know what things are like. And right around the time where I was taking lessons, I told my guitar instructor, and he's huge into making his own beer. Mm-hmm. And that's all he would talk to me about is like, man, I spent the weekend making this one brew, and I used this, and I did that, and it's like I did all this stuff, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but you're so excited. I kind of want to like go to your house and try some of your beer because you're just so happy about the process of making it. I wanted to kind of join that that whole thing, and then I got this game called Charlie Murder, where it's sort of like Castle Crashers but punk band themed.
Cool.
And one of the ways that you like level up your abilities is you make your own beer, and you like literally you get the yeast, you get the hops, and you do all the stuff. You put it together in an actual like crafting thing, and you make your own beer, and it like buffs your strength, buffs your health, all that kind of stuff. It's a really cool concept, and it was like close enough to actually making beer where it's like, I'm pretty sure I'm halfway there to being able to make beer on my own, just playing this this funny little game. And with drinking more mics more casually with you, it's kind of built that taste for alcohol, for very like weaker alcohol
that like
content.
5%
Yeah.
stuff, like.
Yeah, and it's been building the taste for beer.
Right.
Like, not necessarily taking away, like, all of the flavors that I don't like, but one of the last times where our friend Rose invited us out to the bar, I don't think you were there that day, because this was, like, earlier last year. But I went out with them, Elliot was there, and, one of our other friends, who shall not be named.
I think I know who you're talking about just from that.
Yep. So, we were all there, and I had no money. I didn't know why they invited me, and I was super worried, because it's like, I'm hanging out at this fancy-ass martini bar.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely wasn't there. I've never been there.
With no money whatsoever. What am I gonna do? I bought a coffee beer for like $5. It was like the cheapest thing on their menu. Like everything else was like $10 to $15 for a drink. And cheapest thing I could afford was like a cup of beer.
That's also a big problem with drinking at bars. Mm-hmm. 'Cause, no thank you on the $10 drink.
It actually, and here's the thing, it didn't taste that bad. Like, I was worried about it. Like, I bought it just so that they wouldn't, like, kick me out. Mm-hmm. Because I was worried it was going to be one of those, like, why are you here if you're not going to drink and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whatever, I'll just have this. And it actually wasn't bad. Like, I could tell...
I don't know, I can stomach Bailey's. I don't like it, but I can stomach it.
Bailey's or
not
Guinness?
Bailey's, Guinness. The other Irish thing.
Yeah. Because I know you really like Bailey's.
Yeah, I really like Bailey's. I can stomach Guinness if I'm going to drink beer.
Never had Guinness. Never had Guinness, never had Heineken.
I've never had Heineken, but...
Yeah.
That's my... If I'm going to drink beer, that's... I guess.
Yeah, but it's kind of helped build the taste for that kind of stuff. And I was told, oddly enough, when I got the job at the health food store, one of my coworkers also made beer. He made beer and he drank a lot of like craft things, craft brews. Oddly enough, lives in Oregon. So might end up being neighbors.
Just happen to move in right next door. Hey, man.
If we end up in Grisham, then yeah. And I was telling him, like, man, I want to develop the taste for beer. And it's like, he's like, all right, well, craft beers usually have more flavor. Started going over, like, the different types of beer and things like that. And was like, but, easy trick, because most people just don't have the taste for beer. It's just something you drink while you're hanging out with friends, and eventually you develop a taste for it. Mm-hmm. So he was just like, you know, maybe go to the store, buy a bunch of, like, single bottles of some stuff that sound delicious. Take them back. Have about one a night, maybe, with your food or something like that. That way, you may not like the taste, but you're eating it with something that you do like. So it'll kind of, like, mask the taste, and eventually, you'll actually build up a taste where you'll build up the senses that you'll be able to, like, ignore the bad taste and just focus on, like, the good.
See, I don't want to do that. Like,
right.
like I don't want to, like,
force yourself.
If I have to force myself to like something, is it really worth it?
Right. See, at that point,
thing, like, if I hadn't liked tequila the first time I had it, I never would have had it again.
You know, that's fair.
Every time with beer, like, and people are like, well, you didn't like any other beer you've ever had, but you might like this one. You'll definitely like this one. This one's different, and, like, it all is just beer.
Right.
Like,
I mean, to be fair, you know, if you don't like something, don't force yourself to. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to do it for a specific reason.
Right.
And like,
I think if I was gonna be a bartender, like, if someone asked for beer and like a recommendation on beer, be like,
ask
bro,
the
I
other
don't
guy.
know. Like, ask him.
And you know what? That's fair. You don't need to be an expert in all sorts of alcohol just to be a bartender. This is just like a personal preference.
Right.
It's like, this is just something that I want to do. I kind of want. Part of me, the more as I grow, I realize that like I kind of want to be a jack of all trades. It's like, yeah, cool, do some game design here, some music stuff there. I cook, I bartend. Maybe I'll take some massage classes. I don't know. I could do it all, or I can do none of those things. You know, master of none, but I know just enough to get by. That's what I want.
What is the full phrase though? It's like jack of all trades, master of none, but better than a master of one.
Hey, there you go.
That's the whole phrase.
I didn't know it. I didn't know that. But hey, that works. That's what I want. I want to be that guy.
So if we're on like bartending and like bar drinks and stuff, like, can we talk about how awkward the names of shots are?
Oh
to
my
go up to the
God.
bartender and ask for a redheaded slut.
Yeah. Or a multiple screaming orgasm.
Yep, or just, hey, can I get a blowjob? Like,
No, muff dive. Like, who calls it a muff?
though, while we're on the subject, those are delicious. Well, no, those are delicious shots. Like, have you
Oh my
ever
God.
had a blowjob or a muff
I
dive?
have not. I have not had either. I've had neither.
I've had a blowjob, and they're delicious. But once again, the name of that shot makes it
Isn't it-
hilarious and awkward to talk about. But it's a delicious shot.
Because
It's so good.
they're like party drinks.
Yeah.
But isn't it like whipped cream on it as well?
Yeah. And
I'm trying to
pretty
remember
sure
what's
they're
in it.
basically like the same drink, but like a
Yeah.
blowjob has the whipped cream on top, muff dive has it on the bottom.
Yeah, it's supposed to be served like on a cup.
Yep, and then you can't use your hands. You have to
Yeah,
like
use just like
bend down
and get it.
with
Yeah,
your mouth and
yeah, and like the muff dive, it's like inside of a cup.
yeah.
So it's like a shot glass in a cup, and you have to like get it that way. Oh, it's so weird. So I mean, just drink names in general are just weird.
Sex on the beach.
Sex on the beach. That is Irish car bomb.
That one's racist. That one's racist. But I guess even alcohol is not exempt from racism.
I don't know unless
Though I've
you go
had an
like
Irish car bomb, and it was not terrible. You just like you have to chug it because the Baileys will like curdle. In
yeah. See, Bailey's and alcohol. Anything dairy and alcohol, gotta drink it quick. Yeah, I can't wait to get back to taking bartending classes. Although I gotta say, working at this thrift store, it's so weird. Like, the thing that's been selling the most, like, people sell us their stuff the most, and people buy this stuff like that. Anything dealing with wine.
Wine is so in right now. Like, everyone loves wine.
Like, art with wine, wine racks, little single bottle wine holders, like antique wine bottle openers. They just go. Like, people will give it to us because it's like spring cleaning, I don't want it anymore, blah blah blah. Like, it's been sitting in my house, I don't drink. They give it to us, and like the same day, like 5 people come through. Oh my god, grab. Like, this one lady bought this, like, it was like a metal outlining of like a wine glass and some grapes, and it had some holes for you to like shove a bottle in. and then a little rack on the bottom for you to put like wine glasses on. And like that was the best thing in the world to her. It made her damn night.
I know my sister's really big into wine right now. Like, whiskey used to be her thing, now it's wine. And, like, I don't know, I like some wines. I always, like, really wish I liked red wine, because I love the aesthetic of red wine.
Yeah,
so, you know,
same.
I'm one of those, never quite got over my goth phase. So I would, like, love to just be sitting there in my, like, all black and, like, red wine and...
Can I say something kind of in the same vein as that? I got mad at this kid yesterday. I call him a kid. He's probably like in his 20s. Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
We're all kids.
True. We're all kids at heart. And still living with our parents. So, like, a month ago, someone came in and sold this, like, goth-looking bottle. It was, like, black-tinted with this little black stopper and, like, in old-timey letters, and in, like, black and orange letters, it said, Bat Blood.
That's awesome.
And it was just this old vintage-looking bottle. And we didn't think we would sell it, so they priced it at, like, $2. And I was, like, eyeing that up, and I was gonna buy it, and, like, every time I'm like, I'll get this, I'll put it, you know, I put it behind the counter, like, I'll get this before I leave. And then, like, do I really want to spend $2 on this? I'll put it back. This dude came in yesterday and bought it and was, like, super excited about how cool it looked. It's like, dude, I was so mad at him for buying it because I wanted it. Oh, my God.
That is sad.
Yeah, but I don't really like any wine. Well, really, I don't like red wine.
If you don't like any wine, that's when, if you're in a situation where wine is the appropriate drink, Pinot Grigio. You're drinking wine, but not really.
Well, see, that's the weird thing.
Grape juice.
Like every time I'm like, I don't drink wine. I don't like wine. I'll go to like a concert with you, and you'll get wine, and it's like, do you want some? I'm not really a fan. Here, try mine anyway, and it's delicious. Like,
so you get like the really like grape juice tasting white wines. Yeah, get your Pinot Grigios and your Moscatos and like.
Apparently, like
Chardonnay is also pretty palatable.
I didn't drink, and I wanted us to like drink while we played Catherine. Mm-hmm. I still think eventually we should do like a drunken Catherine thing.
It's gonna be a mess.
It would be, but it would be fun. The
sober playthrough of Catherine was a mess.
But like that's why I went out and I actually bought alcohol, because it was like, all right, what's the closest thing to sake? Wine. I mean, probably not, but that was the closest thing I could think of. So I mean, it's really rice wine.
Yeah.
Rice wine or plum wine. So I went out and bought wine. And I was like, all right, I drink rum. I'll go out, I'll buy some rum. And they were just sitting there, and then we were like, maybe we shouldn't drink for this game. And so they were just kind of sitting in the closet. Mm-hmm. Went out of town. We decided, I have 2 bottles of wine. I think I brought one to your house. It was the Apothic Dark.
Yeah.
I brought that to your house. Went out of town with the other bottle. I don't know how to drink wine. I'm not a fancy man. I took the cork out and just drank it straight from the bottle. It was the worst tasting thing
That's
ever.
one way to do it. Which kind was it? Was it a red wine or?
Yeah. Apothic Dark is red wine.
Red wine is just like, I don't know. There's just like something about it that
it just tasted like medicine. It's like, it looks cool, but it...
Dessert wines are also good.
I've been mixing... I've been mixing my...
drinks. I have such a sweet tooth.
See, with drinks, I love sweet stuff. Like, just not with, like, food. I don't really like sweet foods. But I've been mixing my tea with either rum or wine. Especially, like, blush wine. Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go.
And people are so weird about wine. Like, you have to be able to pair it perfectly, or it's not worth drinking. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it literally doesn't matter. If you like this wine and you're eating this thing and you want to drink that wine with it, but it doesn't technically pair with that wine, who cares?
Honestly, I can understand certain pairings. I just don't get, same in the same vein, like why is it such a big deal? Like every spirit, every wine, every beer has a taste.
Right.
And it's like one taste might be a little bit more potent than the other. It might overpower that burger that's in your mouth. That's fair. And you might want to drink something that isn't as powerful or isn't as strong or isn't as whatever. But that's a life learning thing. That's not like a pairing to live by. Like, oh, whenever I have this kind of wine, I can only eat this with it because that's what brings out the flavor.
Yeah, that's my big problem with wine is the pretentiousness. Or that like people who are really into it carry with them. Like you're not better than me because you know what wine goes best with this like shrimp Alfredo thing. Like,
speaking of, I need to learn how to make that. Shrimp Alfredo and shrimp Creole. More stuff with fish.
Leave in the comments what wine goes best with
Don't. Or do.
Everyone starts like schooling us on wine and like how we're all wrong and stupid.
I'm not worried about the wine
not
folk.
Cultured enough to get.
I'm not worried about the wine folk because I am not cultured. I will never be a part of your world. I will only like dip a toe in. Ha. Dip a toe in your wine.
That's how you should respond to people being pretentious about wine pairing. Just take off your shoe and dip your toe in their wine.
That'll show you. Oh, Christ. See, I've when I'm at work and I'm talking to my coworker about wine, or not wine, talking to him about alcohol in general and just drinking, it's always weird because like he'll start going off about like all the times that he's been out with friends and he's gotten drunk, and the last time, we talk about alcohol or talk about rum, and he's like, oh, the last time I had rum, this is what happened. Or tequila. Well, last time I had tequila, this is what happened. And then there's like a long pause, and he's like, you're making me want to go drink. And then we're counting down the registers, and he's just like, I think I'm gonna go drink tonight. And it's like, oh, yeah, relax after a day at work, have a bottle or something. And he's like, no, I don't like drinking at home because it's boring. I don't like drinking by myself. It's like, it's not that I can't, it's just that I don't like doing that at home. So I'm just gonna go to the bar. And he goes to the bar like every other night that I work with him.
Bars are so expensive. Like, bars are so not worth it.
Like, he'll
like,
literally...
yeah, like, go to a bar for the experience, like, when you're 21. Like, when you turn 21. That's a fun 21st birthday thing to do. But after that, just buy some bottles of whatever and take it to your house. And, like...
I don't get it. Like, we'll be leaving work, and he'll be, like, calling friends to meet him at the bar down the street from the job. And it's like, dude... That's expensive.
Right. It's so not worth it.
We get paid like minimum wage, and you're going to the bar like at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, can't pay your bills. That's how you're living.
Nice dude, but I mean, if you're gonna drink, it's cheaper to drink at home. Just like if you're gonna eat,
yeah, you can invite friends to your house.
Yeah.
And drink there.
If you're gonna eat, cook.
If you live with your parents or, like, people who don't like drinking, then, like, find a friend who's willing to host and, like, go to their house.
See, I will say that in his defense of that plan, I didn't have that when I actually wanted to drink. It was always like, whose house could I go to drink this stuff with? And it's like everyone's house I went to would, like, either their parents wouldn't allow alcohol in the house, so no one would like want to risk it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was a situation where like, all right, yeah, you can drink here as long as you leave by like, I don't know, an hour before I want to go to sleep. It's like, I get it, but suddenly the people who are actually like buying the alcohol, they're the ones who drink all night and just crash wherever they last set a bottle down.
Yeah, and that's the safest thing to do, honestly. If you're drinking until you get like really drunk, it's the safest thing to be in a place where you can just crash there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Which is why, like, lately, every now and again, I say lately, and this hasn't happened in like 2, almost 3 months. Whenever friends come over here and they start drinking, like, if I'm drinking with them, I'll just let them crash here.
mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I'm not drunk, but I'm not about to, like, drive home after a couple shots of tequila.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna...
Just better safe than sorry, honestly.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go out and drive at, like, 1 in the morning when I live down the street from the police department in a town that they frequently just, like, do laps around the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
After drinking, like, 3 bottles of Mike's. It doesn't matter, you know, that it's, like, 2, 3, 5% or whatever. It's still in my mouth. That's still gonna, like...
Right, if you, like, take a breathalyzer and, like...
That's potent. Like right now, right now, 40 minutes ago, we just took a shot. That's gonna be gone by the time I take you home.
Right.
Like... I just don't want to risk it. So it's like, all right, you know what? You sleep on the bed, I'll sleep on the futon, or vice versa. We'll just crash here. Just have a chill night. I'll order a pizza, have it delivered. No one has to move. Lazy as fuck. That's cool. That's nice.
Right.
Those are nice. But back then, I just didn't have those friends who were like willing to let 1 or 2 people stay the night. It was one of those, like, yeah, we're all adults, but...
Most of us still live with our parents, and
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that was always my issue. I totally would have let people just come over and, like, crash at my house if it weren't for my parents.
See, after a while, I know, like, my parents were the type of parents who, if... depending on the friend, would have kind of had something to say about it. Like... My parents were the folk where if I had if I hung out with a girl for more than like 2 hours, he might be in a relationship with that one.
I remember the whole like your parents thinking you're a player kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, that's not happening. That's not me. But it's one of those, if they were guys, sure, they could have just brought drinks over. Drank, crashed, no one would have blinked an eye.
There are connotations when you're drinking all night with a female person.
Or persons. And suddenly... But somehow, miraculously, all of my guy friends either don't drink unless they're at a party, or... aren't the ones that bring the alcohol. They just kind of show up for it.
The ones that mooch off of everyone else's alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. They're exactly those people.
BYOB, they show up. So who's got beer?
Yep.
Like...
They're exactly those people. And so yeah, I was cool just being the driver. That was fine. That was my role. That is my place in the drinking group.
See, I could not drive until recently, so I never got stuck in that situation.
Yeah, but you still got to drink.
Only occasionally. I never understood the people who did drink, like, super frequently, like, to the point of getting really, really drunk, like, every weekend. I never understood that. I never understood how they kept that up. Like...
I've never been drunk, And that is another thing that I get, like, talked at a lot by people. It's like, you've never been drunk, you need to do it. You need to do it at least once just to see what it's like. You need to do it just to see if you like it, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like...
Dear kids, getting drunk is not a necessary experience in life. If you enjoy it, fine. It's not a necessary thing to do. Like,
no.
neither is, like, getting high or doing, like, any of that, like, party shit that people act like is necessary to life.
Yeah. I've never been high, never had any drugs. I drink.
Yeah, that's... because...
And that's pretty recent.
It's just this weird thing where, like, if you're not... You need to have experienced getting intoxicated and, like, lessening your control over your own actions and, like...
See, I understand the argument to the extent that you're young, you need to do new experiences, you need to do that kind of thing, because do it while you're young and you have the energy, and you can actually, like, you know, rebound from these things.
Yeah, and
but
that's
not...
also, like, if you're interested.
Yeah. That doesn't have anything to do with your general interest in things.
Yeah. So if you're not interested, then don't do it. Like, it's fine.
And if you're not interested, it's okay to not be interested. Like, I never understood growing up those commercials where people were, like, smoking, and like the older kid would be smoking and, like, pressure the younger kid to smoke too.
I literally never experienced that in my life.
Almost every friend that I have that smokes
is like, yeah, don't do this.
Yeah, they're all
this thing
like,
that I'm doing, don't do it.
Yeah, like the adults, the teenagers, like, no matter what age I was, everyone that smoked was like, "Hey, you smoke? No? Good, don't." It's like, sure, didn't really want to anyway.
The only thing that I ever really got, like, peer pressured in was, like, weed, and that was only, like, very occasionally. Like, if people were smoking around me and they would be like, do you want some? And usually it'd be like, I say no. They're like, alright. Like...
Yeah. And that's not even... I don't even think that's, like, peer pressure. That's just kind of...
I got some pressure from one of our friends, our first time drinking. But, like... And, like, he like, got me to take a shot of straight vodka.
I hate
and
vodka.
that was, like, my first experience with alcohol.
I hate the taste of vodka.
It's like 18, and that's like, oh god.
Ugh, vodka. It burns and it tastes gross. Like, tequila is so much better tasting than vodka.
It is. It goes down a lot smoother.
Yeah, and
like...
people complain that it's like, oh, it burns and blah blah blah. It's like, have you
really?
tried vodka?
Maybe that's why tequila doesn't bother me, because my first experience with vodka.
That was my first experience. Like, my first experience with alcohol. See, we should have talked about this at the beginning and not at the end. My first experience with alcohol was, like, I had a friend whose dad drank a lot. And, like, whenever I was staying over at his house, he was the kid that would, like, sneak into his dad's room while he was asleep and, like, take his drinks and, like, walk back into the room, and we would just, like, sit and play games and, like, drink his dad's stuff. So, beer and vodka was literally the only thing this dude drank. Especially, like, green apple flavored vodka, which didn't taste like anything. It tasted like sharpness. So yeah, that was my first experience with alcohol, was green apple flavored vodka when I was in, like, 5th grade.
Sounds kind of gross, honestly.
It was, and now I just can't. I just don't like the taste of it. Even, like, in screwdrivers and things like that. I don't like it.
I think there are some, like, good cocktails with vodka, but, like, those good cocktails are ones in which you cannot taste the vodka.
Right. I mean, even a screwdriver, if there's more orange juice than vodka, chances are
Right.
Orange juice. That's all you're gonna taste.
I'm not a big person about, like, drinking heavily and, like, getting really drunk. But I also am one of those people. I don't know if you've ever seen, like, those posts online of, like, you accidentally put a little too much alcohol in your drink, but you're not a quitter, so you're gonna drink it. I'm not big into heavy drinking, but, like, I am also that kind of person. If there's too much alcohol in this, like, I'm not a quitter. I have to drink it.
See, I'm kind of the same person, except I'll drink it, but if I really don't want to, I'll just, like, slowly drink it. Cause it's like I'm still doing it. I'm still getting there. I don't want to, cause like I'm the type of person where if I'm talking and I'm really excited about something, I can't do anything else. That's why when we have like these conversations just before the podcast, if I'm still eating, I'm not finishing that food.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll just sit in my lap and I'll just be turned to you talking and talking and talking, cause it's like I may even want the food, but I'm much more, like, engaged in the conversation. So it's just out of my mind that, hey, yeah, there's a hot dog on your lap.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing with, like, this drink. It's like, oh, it's too much alcohol in there. Now I kind of ruined the drink. And now this show is a lot more interesting than it was, like, 5 seconds ago. I'll still drink it, but very, very slowly. Like, really in between the scenes that I don't want to watch right now.
Slowly enough that extra alcohol that you accidentally dumped in there is not going to affect you.
No.
Because...
Also, another thing I found at the thrift store, I was so mad when I found out that it was fake. And 2 of these have came in. I still think both of them are really awesome. One I like better than the other, but this thing came in. It's like a small square corkboard, about maybe like that big. I don't know how to describe this for you listeners.
Maybe like 1.5 feet.
There you go.
Really?
So,
approximately.
Yeah, approximately 1.5 feet square. And it was a corkboard full of corks from wine bottles. And it had like the stamps on them to let you know what like bottles they were from and things like that. But they were fake brands. And it was all glued together, and the entire thing, except for like one little spot, was full of wine corks. And I thought that was such a neat idea. I could never do that on my own.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing for friends. That's a thing for roommates to do. Just like hanging out, casually drinking. Oh yeah, boom, do something with these corks. Like, or do something with bottle caps, because bottle caps are also cool to kind of keep around from like alcohol things.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the spiky look of them. But
create a wall of bottle caps.
There you go. Or do something like the corkboard, but with bottle caps. But yeah, I thought that was like a neat little idea, and like that could be like a little bonding thing to do. Of just like, hang out, have some wine with your friends. You know, cork on a corkboard.
It's also fun to say.
Yeah. And the other one, it's the same thing, but except the corkboard is made of glass. Like, the border of it is glass, and then the inside are the corks, and it's in the shape of a wine bottle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, thought that was a neat idea.
I really want to go to the store you work at, because it sounds like there's a lot of cool things.
It really depends. Things come in every now and again. We got a pool table in that, like, if you open up these little doors on the bottom, you can spin it, and there's an air hockey table underneath.
So I have to say, pool is like the ultimate just like beer with your friends and playing pool kind of thing.
Yeah, I really want, if we weren't moving, I would totally have bought this pool table. Because I really, really want it. It's big and it's amazing. And I brought it up to my coworker, the one that goes to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, if I wasn't going anywhere, I would buy this because it's like $300. And I have $300. I'm making it. I'm doing it. So I wanted to get this, and he's like, I mean, it's cool, but I wouldn't really play pool at home. Pool is something you play at the bar. It's like, but it's so much fun.
Right, like there was a pool table at my grandpa's house growing up, and like it was in his basement, and like everyone would just gather there and like casually drink and play pool in the basement. And it was
Yeah,
I was not the one drinking. I was a child, but I was there while everyone was drinking and playing pool.
Nice disclosure.
Just to be clear.
FYI. Yeah, I never really played proper pool. Pool was like board games back in Harvey, where you had like the mini pool table, but there was something missing. No one really knew how to play, so you just made up your own game with like the pieces that are left. I didn't properly learn how to play pool until like 2 or 3 months ago. I went to the community center with a friend, and they're just like, yeah, give them your ID and we can rent the pool table for like however long we're here.
That's awesome.
She taught me how to play pool.
I'm quite terrible at pool.
Me too. Still fun though.
I don't know if you could be as bad as me. I tend to make the balls like fly off the table.
Oh, that's. I'm not that aggressive. That's a power issue. But one easily resolved with practice. We should play pool. And drink more.
Since we went way off topic, may as well like
bring it back full circle. I want to learn how to make spiced wine.
Spiced wine.
Spiced wine.
I've never had spiced wine.
Neither have I. I just know that it involves cinnamon.
Cinnamon's delicious.
Which, hey, maybe that's what you do. Maybe that's what you do. You get like red wine, a little bit of cinnamon, and then you warm it up. You know, serve it hot, and it's got that little cinnamon spice. Boom. Spiced wine. I'm going to look that up and see if that's a recipe.
Just see how close you are. See how close or far away you are.
I want to make spiced wine. I want to try like honey mead. I want to try mead.
I've had mead, and it was quite good. At least the one that I had was quite good.
Quite good.
Quite good. I had it at like, it was like this like burger and ale house place. And like the burger was delicious. And I also tried mead for the first time. But it was like some kind of flavor. I don't remember. It was at like one of my friend's 21st birthday.
It was some kind of flavor.
It wasn't just mead. There was like flavor.
But what flavor would mead just be?
I don't know.
Like original mead. Mead flavored.
I want to say it had like apple or something. I don't remember.
I want to try old-timey ale back when like beer was food. It's like this is like what the wife made for dinner. She made you a cup of ale. Has all your nutrients and ingredients. Minerals. That's the word. I don't know. That was a long pause.
It was. I think we've generally been pretty good about like not having long pauses.
That was the longest pause yet. I might cut that out. Might leave it in. Who knows?
I don't know. I think that's a good place
to end it.
Yeah. Since we've had the long pause, we're clearly done.
It's harder and harder to stay on the topic of alcohol right now.
If we're done with alcohol, done with life.
I mean, in general, yeah. Not literally.
Done with you.
We've got your listen. We need to figure out like a way to end the podcast.
But for now.
Thanks for listening. We've been the Dead Lounge.
You've been you.
Thanks for lounging with us.
Bye.